Welcome to the Cornerstone conversation, presented by Conundrum Records. You're watching Vicious Teknique. The first rap I ever said was about my baseball team. I was like in sixth grade, 12 years old, and I was talked about how the pitcher threw propane, and I just went through the whole lineup. But I wrote a poem when I was 9 years old about 9/11, and it was a traumatic experience for me because I knew somebody in the Pentagon when the Pentagon hit, and he didn't work in right the section that got hit. He actually didn't wasn't at the Pentagon that day when it got hit. He just had an office there, but yeah, he was close with people in there, and it was also too just being 9 years old and just seeing the buildings fall and seeing a country in a warlike state that you it's not common like that wasn't common for adults, and then I was 9 years old, so I wrote a poem about it. And in school I would write poems, things like that. So yeah, that's I got in through poetry and started saying my first rap at 12, and then got into it more heavily when I was 16. Started writing and battling, things like that in Miami. At first it was hard. When I was like 16, 17, starting to write, I was like, what do I talk about? I talked a lot about girls. I talked a lot about, things you do with girls, you know what I mean? Um, so yeah, and having a good time. And that's why, like, I don't, no disrespect to Pump and all them, like, they're 18 years old. Like, they're like, oh, they're making this type of music. Like, what are they gonna talk about? They don't really, are they well read? Is the education system so great that they just focus on Shakespeare? Granted, they could be in better classes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean to judge them. I'm sure, like, if they would have taken that path, they could. I'm not to discount, like, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to judge any situation, but I'm just trying to say what's real. Like, they're going to parties, they're having a good time. This is South Florida. South Florida is about having a good time. Like, what do you want? What do you want? You want that? Well, you could get that in South Florida. You know what I'm saying? So that the art reflects the reality. Growing up at first, it was kind of tough, but now typically I have a concept, and there's a greater story that I'm telling, and then each song serves a place in the overarching story, and each song in itself typically is a concept. So that's if I'm working on a project. But a lot of times I'll have an idea for a song and I'll write it down in my notes. I'll write down the name of the song, what I think the name of the song should be, the idea for the song. Then when I'm listening to beats and I'm trying to come up with, all right, what I want to make this song about, I look through my list and I'm like, oh, okay, this kind of fits that vibe. I want to rock with this. And yeah, so that's my approach. And then I also, there's different forms of inspiration. Shout out, shout out, you know who you are. My current favorite song is Conor McGregor by Vicious Technique. Go pick that. Nah, my favorite song right now, probably Great Man by Kevin Gates right now. But of all time, I must say Put You On Game by Lupe Fiasco. If you haven't heard that song, it's off The Cool by Lupe Fiasco. You should definitely go listen to that whole album and listen to Put You On Game by Lupe Fiasco. It's a magnificent work of art, truly. I love it. I love the South Florida hip hop scene is pretty much influencing the entire hip hop genre currently. The approaches, the way that it's recorded, the sounds, the distortion effects used, the mixing techniques, the actual artist. Rest in power to XXXTentacion. I truly believe if he didn't pass, he was on a trajectory to overtake Drake. I think if you want to talk from a sonic standpoint, if he would have, I think, had a little bit more time. Like, if you listen to Sad, you can tell that he took his time with that record. And that's a smash hit. Moonlight, smash hit. You know what I'm saying? And you can't deny a smash hit. Over time, I think right now you compare him to Drake because it's better music. You could argue maybe Kendrick and this and that. But that J. Cole album, like, it might be a bit of a hot take. You know, I like the message, KOD, but it's kind of like, I don't know. I expect more from J. Cole. And the main point I'm trying to make is that South Florida right now is competing with the heavyweights. The heavyweights of South Florida are competing with the heavyweights of the overall hip-hop genre. And soon enough, it will be the same. The best people out of South Florida will be known as the best people in hip-hop. As of right now, I consider myself right now lyrically, there's no one near me lyrically. Like, if you want to break Vicious Teknique bar for bar down against anybody else, I don't think it's close. If you want to break it song for song down, it's not close. Concept for concept, it's not close. Once these album drops, you'll see conceptually there's no one near me. I think authenticity. I think that's my foundation. That's the key piece is authenticity, because if it doesn't come from a real place, I think people can recognize that, and that won't resonate with them. And if it's not authentic, I don't want to listen to it. I enjoy listening to my music. I enjoy watching the art that I make. I enjoy experiencing the creations that I put forth. So if it's not authentic to myself, it's not authentic to a righteous intention, then I don't really want to make it. So I feel, yeah, that's my cornerstone foundation, is authenticity and truth. This has been the Cornerstone Conversation presented by Conundrum Records. Make sure you pick up Conor McGregor by Vicious Teknique on iTunes, all streaming platforms, as well as the other singles available. And be on the lookout for The Most High.
Your limitations, praise the all-knowing, let the all-loving like castaway. Your limitations, praise the all-knowing, let the all-loving